Welcome to another episode of Ship War, my review of Escape from Tomorrow.
Shipper War. When ship happens, I'm there.
Escape from Tomorrow is directed by first-time director Randy Moore, and the big thing about this movie is that he directed this film in Disney World and Disneyland without Disney knowing about it or getting Disney's permission. So the story itself is about this guy named Jim and his family. They're in Disney World here in Orlando. They're on vacation. It's their last day on vacation, and Jim finds out that he lost his job. And as the story progresses, you see that Jim doesn't really have a very happy life. His wife doesn't really like him. His son doesn't really like him. His daughter is the only one that seems to really like him. He's kind of a screw-up type of guy. He never seems to get things right. And you see this, progress throughout the film. Then the Disney concept comes in, and that is that Disney World and Disneyland has this slogan that it's the happiest place on earth, it's where dreams come true. So you take that, concept of Disney, and then you take this guy who lives a really unhappy life, and you put it together, and this movie is basically those two elements coming together and having a turnout at the end. Now, for me, I really enjoyed the movie at the beginning. I was really enjoying it. I was like, wow, this is pretty interesting how they were able to film in Disney. I like the camera angle. This looks pretty cool how they have it in black and white. This looks, clean. It looks crisp. And then it gets to a point when that, very gimmicky aspect of the movie, which is it's filmed in Disney, kind of fades away, and then the story has to become the thing that, keeps you going with the movie. Problem is the story isn't really that strong that you end up losing interest in the movie halfway in. At least I lost interest. I actually kind of got bored at a certain point, and the gimmick of it being filmed in Disney just went completely away. And for them to say it was all filmed in Disney is not entirely true. Obviously, I didn't go into this movie thinking every single thing was filmed in Disney, because that's virtually impossible. But there's scenes that are obviously green screen, which kind of takes you out of the movie, because you're thinking, oh, this movie's filmed in Disney. But no, that's obvious green screen. I mean, when I say obvious green screen, I mean this obvious. Yeah, it's like that. Then it gives you that impression, oh, that's why this movie was filmed in black and white, to hide those imperfections of that green screen back there. So that really took me out of the movie. And I understand this guy wasn't working with a big budget. And I understand this guy was doing something he wasn't supposed to be doing in Disneyland, and he couldn't obviously get every shot he wanted to get without, getting caught. So I give him leeway for that, but it's still a movie, and you still have to judge a movie for the things that it did right and what it did wrong. And I have to say, the green screen really took me out of the movie. The story itself wasn't that great, and there are certain other things in the movie that I just thought just really didn't add to the film. It just made it really silly for no other reason, just to be really silly. And overall, I just didn't end up enjoying this movie as much as I really wanted to. I really wanted to enjoy this movie because I've always wanted to see a film to highlight the creepiness of Disney and do a good job doing it. And I think this movie did it to a certain point, but then it lost it, and it's not a very good film. So overall, I really wanted to like this movie, but I couldn't, even though I have to say there's a lot of things that this movie did right, but all the right just isn't enough, because there's so many a lot of wrongs this movie did. But the right that it did do is that the camera work in this movie was great. It got a lot of things about Disney right. I love the scene where they're talking about the turkey legs. That was so great, because there's a lot of people who don't realize about Disney turkey legs. It's accurate what they say about this movie about turkey legs. So I really like that. I really like that they pointed that out. And there's certain things in the movie that I felt they really got right when it came to the feel of being in Disney World. So overall, I have to say this movie, I would recommend it to those who are interested in seeing it. If you're interested, watch the movie, get your own impression on it. Don't take my opinion on it to heart. Just watch the movie for yourself and see how you see it as what it is, and you may end up enjoying it. Me personally, I didn't like it very much. I mean, to a certain point I did, but then I lost it. So yeah. So that is all for this episode of Ship War. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Who Am I takes place 3 months after the events of the finale, and we're at a point where Catherine is basically completely drained of anything else in her life because her main focus in this episode and for the past 3 months have been finding Vincent. So the episode progresses. They finally find Vincent after 3 months of him being completely disappeared. And once they find him, it ends up that he has no idea who Catherine is or JT is.